Islam created by Catholic Church. Muhammad wasn't a prophet. I want to give all the honor, glory, and praises to Yahawah, by HaShem, YAHAWASHI, by HaShem, RAWACHAA, QADASH. Double honor to my elders at Great Millstone, taught me this truth through the Spirit, single honor to the elect. Peace and bless to the 1/3, and to the confusion of faces in the four corners of the earth. Shalom. I'm making this video because I uploaded a short of Louis Farrakhan professing subliminally that the quote unquote blacks, but not black, but are the children of Israel. And I know for a fact the so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans are Israelites. But there's also an article, he said blacks are the children of God, or no, the children of Israel, to the extent it's an actual article, right? So I posted that, and then someone had replied saying, Islam isn't a religion, it's a way of life, which is true. I give him that, and I replied back that it was created by the Catholic Church. Then somebody else replied back to me saying, and then this is who this video is for, Islam is a religion not created by Roman Catholic Church, during the 7th century, do your research or bring some evidence. And then I replied back, one saying it's not a religion, another saying it is a religion. I said, why should I listen to either of you? I said, you two need to find some common ground. And I would laugh out loud. But the point of the matter is that Islam was created by the Roman Catholic Church. And this is what I come to realize in society today. This information I've known over half a decade ago. Now it's scarce to even find this information. So once you start to speak the truth, they try to blacklist it, right? They try to keep it out of the search history. Or if you click on certain links, it says article no longer found. Like the book called The 13th Tribe, which was written by a Jewish rabbi himself, saying, if the people that's claiming to be the Lord's people in the land today are the Lord's people, then there will have to be a 13th tribe. Well, they found him and his wife and their dog dead in the bed, right? Just like this individual, Albert Rivera, who's actually a Jesuit priest, he exclaimed that his cardinal, Augustine Bea, or Bea, depending on the pronunciation, disclosed this information to him on how Islam was created by the Roman Catholic Church. So now let's get right into this article, okay? And remember, Islam means submission. Muslim means submitted to God, all right? So it's a way of life. You can call a religion whatever you want, but it was created. And I'm going to prove that and also show that Muhammad was never a prophet and that Muhammad learned everything that he was taught from mainly listening and being around the Israelites, who in the book I'm going to bring out called Babylon the Timbuktu were the Jews, all right, the Israelites. So it says right here, how the Vatican created Islam, the astonishing story from an ex-Jesuit priest, Alberto Rivera, which was told to him by Cardinal Bea, which he was at the Vatican. I will leave the link to this article. I will also leave a link to the book from Babylon the Timbuktu that you can go and find yourself. This is information that we've known for years, but it's new to certain people, so people quickly say, show me the evidence, show me the evidence. But at the point of me showing you the evidence, you're still going to believe what you want. But I'm only doing this for edification's sake, okay? So there's a link at the top. I clicked on www.davidike.com, and it said that article is no longer available. So anyhow, down here at the bottom it says, since his publication after several unsuccessful attempts on his life, but you know something, they want to take you out the earth, he died suddenly from food poisoning. His testimony should not be silenced. Dr. Rivera speaks to us still. What I'm going to tell you is what I learned in secret briefings in the Vatican when I was a Jesuit priest under oath and induction. A Jesuit cardinal named Augustine Bea showed us how desperately the Roman Catholics wanted Jerusalem at the end of the 3rd century. Because of its religious history and its strategic location, the holy city was considered a priceless treasure. A scheme had to be developed to make Jerusalem a Roman Catholic city. Now, the fall of Rome didn't happen like around 180 something AD during the time of Septimius Severus. It actually happened during the 3rd century. I can't recall the name of the emperors during that time, but they were Israelites. They were Jakes, which goes back to the book of Revelation when it says Satan was bound for 1,000 years, then he will loose. Well, the 1,000 years would be from 300 AD, or should I say 3 AD, all the way up to the 1300, because the Renaissance really started during the 1300s. Hence, 1492, not too far from 1300s, right? 1492 would be the 15th century. 1300s would be the 14th century. So that's really a 1,000-year period. Hence, who is Satan? Who's the devil? Who's the old serpent? Esau, Edom. Today they call themselves Caucasians. Hence, bound for 1,000 years, the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, where they claim it was void of knowledge. No, it's because dark-skinned people ruled Europe for 1,000 years. Go look at my post on the community wall, where you literally have popes bowing and praying to depictions of dark-skinned disciples and prophets in Roman cathedrals. But that's information you would never know, because most people can care less, because knowledge to them doesn't benefit them in a world that's full of artificial falsehoods. Damn, I should just say artificial information. Whatever. Anyhow, let's get back to it. So, segueing over, the Vatican wants to create a Messiah for the Arabs. Who are the Arabs? The Ishmaelites. Who is Ishmael? The firstborn son of Abraham. Now you see why they would refer to Abraham. Think about it. Someone that could raise up a great leader, a man with charisma whom they could train, hence illiterate, and eventually unite all the non-Catholic Arabs behind him, creating a mighty army that would ultimately capture Jerusalem for the Pope. In the Vatican briefing, Cardinal Bia told us this story. A wealthy Arabian lady was a faithful follower of the Pope, played a tremendous part in this drama. Always the woman, right? She was a widow named Khadijah. She gave her wealth to the church and retired to a convent, but was given an assignment. She was to find a brilliant young man who could be used by the Vatican to create a new religion and become the Messiah for the children of Ishmael. You want to know why? Because the children of Ishmael knew that they were the descendants of Abraham, of course, so they wanted to claim Jerusalem. The kings during the time that took down the Roman Empire were Israelites, the emperors, I should say, and they wanted Jerusalem back for them, which would be us, because Jerusalem was also known as the city of David, which David was an Israelite, had nothing to do with Ishmael, because the promise went to Isaac, not to Ishmael. This is Genesis chapter 17, verse 19 through 21. And God said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. So the everlasting covenant went to Isaac. It bypassed Ishmael. Listen, Genesis 17 and 20. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. So now, even today, modern day times, what do they refer? Who on earth will call themselves a prince other than someone from England, so to say, or the UK? You have the Saudi Arabians. Don't they have princes over there? They call themselves princes. In Dubai, they have all that money. They're living in their promise from the Lord. They're living in their prophecies from the Lord. They multiply exceedingly, all right? They're princes over there, and they are a great nation. As of right now, Saudi Arabia is ruling right now. They literally refer to themselves as a kingdom. They are a kingdom because they are the descendants of Abraham, but they're not the ones given the promise. Going back, Genesis 17 and 21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. So this was really a plan to capture Jerusalem, which the Saudi Arabians, the Ishmaelites during that time, had captured. That was the whole reason for Islam being created. So Mecca could be their Jerusalem, but it took a turn for the worse for us, right? So let's continue. Khadijah had a cousin named RAWACHAA, I hope I pronounced that correctly, who was also a very faithful Roman Catholic, and the Vatican placed him in a critical role as Muhammad's advisor. He had tremendous influence on Muhammad. Listen to this. Under RAWACHAA's direction, Muhammad wrote, listen, because he had to be taught, he had to be trained, wrote that Abraham offered Ishmael as a sacrifice. You hear that? So they're trying to rewrite the Bible. The Bible says that Isaac was the sacrifice, but Muhammad removed Isaac's name and inserted Ishmael's name. As a result of this, in Muhammad's vision, the faithful Muslims built a mosque, the Dome of the Rock, in Ishmael's honor on the site of the Jewish temple that was destroyed in 70 AD. That's a fact. 70 AD did happen because Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian, his son, did a great slaughter to the Jews, the Israelites during that time. And then it goes on to say that the Jewish we're going to say that the slave market was full of black Jewish slaves. That's also an excerpt that I'm quoting out of the book called From Babylon to Timbuktu, which I'm going to be reading out of next. This made Jerusalem the second most holy place in the Islam faith. How could they have such a sacred shrine to the Pope without causing a revolt? Now let that sink in, all right? Let that sink in. So let's just segue over to the book From Babylon to Timbuktu. I meant to take a picture of the front, but you can always research From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor. He was a so-called black man, a Jade. He spoke 5 different languages, and he was heavily involved in history. And he believed in the Bible as well. And hence, that's how I come to the fruition of knowing I was an Israelite, from the excerpt saying that Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian did a great slaughter to the Jews, and that the slave market was full of black Jewish slaves. That light bulb clicked on, and over a decade later, I'm still here professing the truth of YAHAWASHI by SHAM QADASH. Anyhow, let's get back to the book. I'm not gonna read all this, but I'm gonna get to the points. It says, when Muhammad was born, many Arabs were still worshiping the sun, stars, spirits, and idols. The Arabs possessed 360 idols, one for each day of the year. You can research that yourself. So they were they believe in the pantheon. I almost said polygamous. They believed in the pantheon. Yeah? Okay. So Muhammad was born AD 570, 4 years after the death of Emperor Justinian. He was descended from the tribe of Quraysh and the family of HaSham. His mentality was prejudiced. In his youth, he was never taught to read to write. That's why he had to intensely learn. But his imagination was superlative. And there's a reference mark, the number 38, is in the back of the book. It gives you the reference where he got this from. There are references all in that book because the man is a historian. So this is facts, not making this up. All right? I think the book was called Abid. Continuing on, after Muhammad became a camel driver, he traveled to remote and intriguing lands. He led his caravans to Persia, Syria, and Egypt, transacting businesses with merchants of every kind. On his business trips, he met Jews, Israelites, Christians, Israelites, and members of other sects. He integrated them concerning the tenets of their religions. See, he wanted some information. He frequented the environment of the Jews, Israelites, and their rabbis, mostly because they were merchants in an omnipresent ethnic group. Here comes the focal point. Because he could not read or write, his ears were attentive and keen to everything that the Jews related to him. Muhammad learned and extracted much from the Jewish religion and compounded it with his new religion, Islam. So, this was all a scheme by the Israelites. Going back to like I say, the Roman Catholic Church really the Holy Roman Catholic Church really stems from Israelites. They were evil, they were bad people now. There was some bad jakes in the Roman Catholic Church. Because you got to go back, you could research the black popes of Rome, the 10th century black popes of Rome, right? Which you don't have to put the word black in there, but because Esau controls the history and the narrative, they'll put black popes of Rome. Why can't we just be the popes of Rome, right? They came after your Greco-Roman Empire that fell, all right? After the Herodian dynasty. How about that? But anyhow, so going back, listen here, y'all. Europe remained dormant and inactive for 1,000 years through the Dark Ages, while the Muslim Empire mastered and the civilized progressive world. Let's see again. Europe remained dormant and inactive for 1,000 years, the Dark Ages. Didn't I just mention that? How the Lord said Satan shall be bound for 1,000 years, and they will say it's void. No, it's not. Much history is there for us. But see, he got to sugarcoat it. You can't just come out and just blatantly just say who we are, what we are. In a sense, you know what I mean? Look what happened to the Jewish rabbi that made the 13 tribe. Look at what there's an unwritten international law saying if you say that this one sect of people are not these people, you can be canceled. There's no other race on earth that could do that except for those small hats, those Zionists, those 1948ers over there in the land of milk and honey. There's no other people on earth that has an unwritten international law. What are you hiding? What are you afraid of? Yeah. Getting back. So let's get to the point right here. And I'm going to close out. I don't want to make this long, but I had to make my points. Now listen here. Muhammad spent many days in the hills outside of Mecca. He was immersed deeply in the deplorable condition of his people and wanted to lead them away from moral turpitude and idolatry, which they still follow to this day. And side note, for you people who claim to be Muslims today, you're worshiping the sun. They started worshiping the moon first. Hence, they were lunatics. What do you mean by lunatics? Lunar ticks. Do some research upon that, all right? Do some research upon that. Matter of fact, prime example, look at some of the look at the Middle Eastern flags. Go online and type in like flags for like maybe what, Pakistan, maybe Iraq or Syria. Like a lot of those countries, their flag has a crescent moon on it with stars. I wonder why. I digress. Told me to do some research. I better leave me alone. It seemed to him that the angel Gabriel appeared. It seemed. No. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael. Dang, forgot the other angel's name. Forgive me. But you know what I'm talking about. They all went to the Israelites. They always went to the Israelites. They always went to the Israelites. The prophets. Okay? Incidentally, Gabriel was the same angel. Ooh, incidentally, right? Incidentally, Gabriel was the same angel who appeared in a vision to the Hebrew prophet Daniel. And there's also an excerpt for that. Okay? And this is my last precept, and I'm going to close out. Excerpt, and then my precepts, I'm going to close out. Islam and Judaism. The Prophet Muhammad adopted many principles and laws from the Jewish religion. Another excerpt right there, another reference. First of all, the basic idea of monotheism, which is the belief in one God. The Jewish confession of the unity of God is Shema Israel Adonai Elohim Hinu Adonai Ahad. It says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." That's not the proper pronunciation. The proper pronunciation would be Shemai, Yasha'Allah, Yahawah, Alahayanawa, Yahawah, Ahad. That's how you would say Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Because Yahweh is the Heavenly Father's name. Yasha'Allah is how you would pronounce Israel in Hebrew. And Ahad is how you would say one. So it's Shemai, Yasha'Allah, Yahawah, Alahayanawa, Yahawah, Ahad. Now going back to the book excerpt right here. It says the Mohammedan slogan is as follows: La ilaha illa Allah, Muhammad Rasul Allah. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the prophet of Allah. So this goes to show you that he's just pretty much regurgitating everything that we've already accomplished or done or said, and he's just putting his own revamp on it. Remember, rather than Isaac being sacrificed, who sacrificed? Ishmael. Rather than it being Yahweh's only one God, he says Allah's only one God. You see what I'm saying? Muhammad adopted also the main details of the Jewish calendar, the Day of Atonement, there's a reference, the Sabbath, much of the Bible, and narratives from the Medrash, and many points of the ritual law. Incidentally, the Jews pray 3 times a day facing the city of Jerusalem, and the Muslims, true believers, pray 5 times a day facing the city of Mecca. Now, I wonder where he got that from. What do you think he got that from? Daniel chapter 6, verse 10. I'm closing out after. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, Alahayanawa, as he did aforetime. So, what do you think they get to praying every day? What, 6, 7 times a day, 5 times a day? They get it from the book of Daniel, from the Bible. And side note, the word Allah is a Hebrew word. It literally means God of power. All right? It's not the name of the Lord. See, remember, Ishmael was Abraham's first son. And Sarah was jealous. Jealousy is the raging. Woman. Envious of another woman. Sarah was jealous of Hagar, Abraham's concubine, because she couldn't bear seed. So can you imagine the black woman, quote unquote, the black woman, Israelite woman, jealous of another woman? She probably, like Elder Pastor Hart said years ago, probably throwing pots and pans at her and kicking her, because that was pretty much her slave, but like, she was mistreating her. So then she ran away. Hagar, Ishmael ran away. And Abraham, he wept over that. And it's, that's his son, firstborn. But the Lord said, no, not in this seed, but in thy seed that come after Sarah, roughly paraphrasing. But when Ishmael left, he didn't leave with the name Yahawah. He left with the term Allah. So they ran with Allah ever since, and they always prayed to Allah, which just means God. All right? Allah means God. YASHARAHLA. Yah means he. Shar means prince. Allah means God. Loosely translated, a prince of God. That's what the word Israel literally means. We are princes of God. So anyhow, yeah, I'm gonna at you, buddy. You told me to do my research and all that. I actually did this, man, just to refresh the minds of those who may come in this truth, and maybe want some information on Islam or whatever the case may be. And if you really want to come back at me, please don't make me go to the surah, the cow called the heifer. Please don't make me go on the surah. Don't make me go to the Quran. I could pull out 3 or 4 excerpts that will make anyone think twice about why should you even read the Quran when you should be reading the Bible. But I'm not here to nitpick. I'm not here to bash on anyone. I'm just here to present the facts. Listen, y'all, it's all about real over feels. And this world is just spinning like a crazy wheel. But with that being said, I pray you was edifying and fed. Stay in the spirit. Don't fear it. Just endure it. Ask for forgiveness. Pray without ceasing. Stay humble. Remain diligent. Kwama Sha'Allah. Mafla Babal. Shalom.